Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you, and I was like, you know what? Let's make a YouTube video today. Got done with my run, which is why my hair is a little bit crazy. Yep, no more beard. And I said, let's get into it. Let's do some YouTube. I want to talk about fall in Sweden, and first, just why I really enjoy fall. I grew up in Western Pennsylvania, and I just love the colors of the leaves and when they change. There's just something about that. And I used to do archery hunting. I never actually got a deer or anything. I just like to sit out in the woods and get in the middle of nowhere. The way down I had to go was a couple hours, and I could just watch the leaves change. I would sit up there. I would see a lot of deer and just be out in nature, and I really, really enjoyed that. That was one of the major reasons I came to Sweden. Is I have a love of nature. When I was in college, I would go and take hikes in the woods just to kind of get away from everything. And just recently, I just took like a run in the woods. And there's a lot of places you can find. Any town probably in Sweden, and even in Stockholm, I've heard people write in the comments, you can find a place where you're kind of like in the woods. And they're usually probably used for orienteering and things like that. But you can get in the middle of the woods. That's one thing that's nice about Sweden. You don't have to go that far pretty much in any direction to kind of all of a sudden be in the middle of the woods. They're usually places where you do orienteering stuff. There's these nice paths you can run through. They're usually clearly marked 5K or 2.5K or something like that. And you go like run. Like me, I'll go run, or you can take a walk. And here's what's awesome about it, and I think everybody can do it. There are so many daily stresses we have in our lives. There's so many times that, like myself and others, where I'm just like, what am I going to do next? Or my mind could be racing a million miles an hour. I can be stressed about YouTube, for example, which might sound funny, but maybe I'm stressed about wanting to have a video. I can be stressed about a number of things. I can be stressed about what's going on in my life. And when you're out in nature, you'll see like a squirrel running around and you see something. And this, to me, I've always found this calm. No matter how good of a day you have or how bad of a day you have, nature just doesn't care, and nature just keeps being, and nature keeps just living. And I always really, really enjoyed that. It kind of takes away some stress. Like if I'm having a bad day, like that squirrel is still going to go and find the nuts and berries or whatever the squirrel grabs. Or that bird is going to still maybe fly, because the winter's coming, they're going to migrate or something like that. Or, there's so many different things. The deer are going to go a certain way, and the plants are going to grow or die, and it doesn't matter. The stream's going to keep flowing, There's something about that makes it so peaceful, because I think us as humans, and maybe this is too deep to take my Swedish conversation, but us as humans, we tend to get so stuck in our heads sometimes and think that everybody cares about what we think constantly all the time and get really stressed out. So if you get a chance in fall, I dare you, just take a walk in the woods and like just shut off your mind, especially if you can do it in Sweden, and just take in like the trees. Like I love depending on where you are, like the pine tree, for example, just breathe in some of that fresh air, and it kind of just puts things in perspective that, you know what, just take a deep breath and like relax, be out in nature, and just have that time. I think it's almost like mandatory, like all people should have that, because I always feel a lot better after walking through the woods. Anyways, Sweden in fall is an interesting time. I find fall to be hit or miss. I enjoy the leaf colors. So Sweden definitely gets all 4 seasons, but I feel like spring and fall tend to be kind of short. They feel shorter than like the summers and winters. This year we've had a couple really nice fall days where I am in Sweden. We had a really nice one today, and we've had a nice one to go kind of walk around. So it's very nice, but fall always feels a little bit short. And another thing about fall is that once you have like Höstlov, which is like the fall break, and you come back, that hour change happens. And I don't know what it's like for everybody else, but for me, that is the hardest thing. We're starting to see the darkness. It's maybe not so bad now. You won't notice the darkness if you're in Sweden, even if you're Swede. Like, it's okay, it's getting darker. You started to probably notice it the first week of September that it was starting to get darker. But when you go to Höstlov, or after Höstlov is over, or that next part of the break, suddenly the hours and the clocks change, and it really hits you that it's getting darker. I definitely notice that I start to get a little bit less energy. Like I have a little bit less. I love doing YouTube, for example, but I might have a little bit less motivation to do a YouTube video because maybe just life is happening, or I'm a little bit just stressed or behind or trying to get things figured out. That's definitely something that happens from time to time. But it's an interesting time to be around. And like I said, it could snow, for example, in fall. That's another thing that could happen. I can't think of a lot of interesting things that happen in fall except maybe Halloween, which is starting to get more popular in Sweden. You don't celebrate it on the same time as us, not in October, but it's similar. I think it's because it doesn't want to be the exact same times as All Saints Day. I think that's what it's called, which we have in the United States. And again, I'm talking off the top of my head, so you can correct me if you want to in the comments below. So fall, I definitely recommend. It's not my favorite holiday in Sweden. That's still got to be spring, and I need to talk about all the holidays because I didn't even get into summer. But that'll be for another time, for another YouTube video, of course. But we might as well do them around the time things are happening. So I enjoy fall. I just find it's a little bit harder to find some energy and motivation because the times are starting to change. There's an expression in Swedish. I think it's like now it is August. Nu det är höst is the way I would have heard Swedes say it. Like, nu det är höst. And it's like that day where it starts to get cold, for sure, and you go. For me, also with fall, it's like the weird time because I like to run outside, but sometimes I run indoors because, and actually the weird thing is, running outside in the winter, even if there's snow on the ground, even if it's really cold, isn't really that brutal to me. Because you can dress up and you can wear the right type of clothing. However, I have run in the fall, and it's when you get caught in that in-between snow and rain and you get that freezing rain on you, that is the worst. Those are the times where it really hits you bad. The only other thing is, like, if you live in an apartment during fall, there's a couple, like, cold days, and I know they have to turn on the heat, but I swear there's a couple days also where you're just like, can they turn on the heat already? Come on, guys. So that happens as well. So this is my take on fall. I hope you really, really enjoyed it. If I was a perfect YouTuber, I'd probably be able to stretch this out to 10 minutes, but I'm not going to do that to you guys because I like to subscribe to people to kind of get to the point in the message, even though I kind of talked for a little bit longer. But if you like this one, please feel free to give me a like. If you're new to the channel, I talk about Sweden, I have music. It's also kind of like you're following me along this journey in my life. So if you like any of that, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Also, the intro song is in my SoundCloud below. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.